Welcome back. The North Dakota men's hockey team had a much-needed bye week this past weekend, giving the Fighting Hawks some time to fine-tune a few things and also heal up some nagging injuries. For more on that and the weekend ahead, here's Alex Heinert with head coach Brad Berry.
Thanks, Kelly. Well, Brad Berry, happy Monday to you. An open week for your team, the rare open week in this season. You move up from 12th in the pairwise to 8th. You should work into more open dates onto the schedule when things like that happen.
Yeah, not too many times that happens, but I think you got to be careful how you look at it too. Because if you look at 8 to 13, they're really tight, and there's not a lot of room within that. But we'll take that, and it's pretty good motivation for this weekend, knowing what we have to do in the job in front of us.
Certainly. You have no games this week, as we mentioned. A chance, though, for you guys to A, heal up, and then B, work on a couple things. What were the main emphasis points for your squad this past week?
Well, you're right. I mean, getting healed up is a big thing. You know, having a chance to maintain our bodies through the week and get guys back from injury. We'll hopefully get some guys back here this week. And then the other part is working some things, continue to work on special teams. Those are going to be big points of emphasis here in the last 8 games. You can win and lose games that way. And then also, our team play as far as our play away from the puck and our play with the puck. So kind of just little structure things within our game 5-on-5.
Yeah. Is there a chance weekends like this, with knowing you've got a month left in the regular season, this we talked about last week, a good chance to sort of reset, heal up a little bit. Did this come at the right time for your team now looking back on it?
Yeah, I believe so. I think we were getting to a point of the season here where we were down to our number of available players in our lineup, and we're asking guys to play roles that they didn't normally get to play. So it's one of those things, like you talked about, resetting and recharging and knowing that it's a sprint to the finish with the last 8 games here in the regular season.
One of the fun things this team tries to do during bye weeks like this is have an outdoor practice. You had one on the schedule. The weather didn't cooperate, though, earlier this week.
No, and guys look forward to that, and I could see the disappointment on their face when we told them we're not going outside. But they knew, it was a bitterly cold day, and it's one of those things where when you are down to your number, you don't want to go down to under that number when you have a risk of health as far as flu or colds or whatever like that. So wanted to make sure that we set ourselves up for this week, having a great week of practice going into Colorado College.
Yeah, certainly. And probably a smart choice. The wind was blowing about 60 miles an hour. There was negative whatever this past week. So good move on your part. Looking ahead to this week now, again, as we said, Colorado College coming to town. You spoke a moment ago about some of the guys who have been missing time, maybe getting back to full strength. Do you feel like you'll have a full roster to choose from this weekend?
Well, I'm not sure about full, but I think we'll have some guys available that normally weren't the past few weeks. Rhett Gardner looks like he's turning the corner here. Got to see how he is in practice. Nick Jones is progressing nicely, and we'll see where Gabe Bass is at too. So those are 3 guys. We had Cole Smith out of the lineup under suspension. He'll be back in our lineup for the next game, so he will be back. But we'll have we'll surely have 1 or 2 more bodies back in our lineup.
Yeah, good news there. Certainly, Colorado College, a team that has finished last in the league each of the last 3 seasons, but does not project to finish there this time. A much improved Tiger team who you saw out in the Springs back in October to start the NCHC season. What do you think is keyed that turnaround for this club?
Well, I think Mike Havlin being there now, I think 4 or 5 years, and getting the players that he needs to want in his culture, and they play a fast tempo game. They've got more skill in their lineup now. They're getting some good goaltending, so a combination of a few things, and it's not by coincidence. They worked hard to get there, and again, we're going to have to make sure that they're coming into our building. We split out there last time we were out there, and we want to make sure that we push to the finish line here, and we play our best hockey.
CC coming off a bye as well. They've got a very good top line when you look at what Nick Halloran and Mason Berg and Trey Bradley have done this season. How big does having last change become in a series like this when you've got a group of guys that are playing so well on the other side?
I think it's huge. You saw a couple weeks ago when we played Denver and us having last change with their big 3 on the ice, and we did a pretty good job of holding them down. I think it is crucial against these guys too, and when you look at that line, they're very opportunistic. I think it's one of those things you have to manage pucks and you have to play the right way and not give those guys opportunities, because if you do, they make the most of it. So again, we got to make sure that we're managing pucks and we don't give them opportunities that way.
This is the start of that final stretch, 4 weekends left in the regular season. Knowing you've got 2 big road dates looming ahead right after this, how important does this weekend become your last home series before you hit the road for 2 straight weeks?
Yeah, it's a great point. It really is. Coming off the bye week, and you're at home here again at the Ralph, and the atmosphere was unbelievable against Denver, and it will be against CC again. It's one of those things where you have 4 on the road, 4 at home. you got to make sure that you take care of business at home here, and then worry about playing on the road later here. So again, like I said, it's very crucial for us to come out and play hard here on Friday night.
7:30 p.m. Friday, 7 o'clock on Saturday. Colorado College coming to town. Brad, thanks again for the time as always. Best of luck this weekend against the Tigers.
Thanks, Alex.
Brad Berry. Kelly, back to you.
All right, great stuff. Thanks, Alex. Coming up next on the show, we'll revisit our obscurely detailed Super Bowl predictions and also take a look at some athlete tweets from this thrilling weekend in sports. Stay right here.